Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and today, after all of this mess that all of us have been in, a lot of these kids are finally getting back to school, and that is a good thing. I think that it's going to change a lot in terms of people's attitudes and people how good people feel about things, just getting back to some semblance of normalcy. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the one huge problem that gold has that I believe digital assets are here to solve, specifically XRP. Gold has one big, huge problem, and always has, and always will, and that is transportability. And I believe that that's one of the many reasons that digital assets were created, was to solve that problem of transportability. And that's what this video is about. But first, I've got some other things I want to show. First of all, the market, there's some billions being added to the market this morning. We're starting to see a little bit of green. Yesterday, Bitcoin crossed 12,000, by the way. XRP has stayed pretty much in that 28 to 30 cent range here for the last few days. And so things look pretty good. Now, this is one of the better videos I've seen come across. This came across yesterday from Real XRP Boy at boy_XRP. Definite follow in crypto Twitter. He's making his list. He's checking it twice. This is a clip of Brian Brooks from the OCC, who used to work at Coinbase.
Maybe a pathway in the U.S. Globally, what are the bodies that are most central to sort of figuring out how we make this work across the world?
Well, I think there are a number of them. I mean, some of them are regulators, but some of them aren't. Some of them are sort of, payments consortiums and other things like that. So, I would start with, you mentioned Chris Larson earlier. I start with the SWIFT network. So Chris's whole business is basically designed to disrupt SWIFT because SWIFT is slow. It makes a lot of errors. A lot of chargebacks come across SWIFT. But that's an embedded interest that has to either adopt this or die at some level. And so I think that's really important. In the US, you think about Visa and MasterCard, which are the main electronic payment rails for the last 40 years. But they're pretty clunky. Chargebacks are high. Fees are insane. Paying 6% interchange fee to take American Express, that's a big deal. Paying 3% to accept MasterCard and Visa, that's a big deal. Crypto tokens can do that for 20 basis points. So imagine if you could achieve a 95% cost reduction by using a better technology. But they're deeply embedded stakeholder interests that get disrupted by that. So they have to be brought along in some way in order to figure that out.
Now, that is an interesting piece of video right there. Now, here, I want to go back to this part because words mean things. A lot of chargebacks come across SWIFT. That's an embedded interest that has to either adopt this or die at some level. And so I think that's really important. In other words, that's an embedded interest. SWIFT is an embedded interest that has to either adopt this or die at some level. That's pretty much why we're all here, right? I mean, we've felt like SWIFT is either going to adopt this or die. And I think that it's going to be more like a merger of SWIFT into Ripple or something that looks like that. But anyway, and the other thing I wanted to make sure you understood out of this is that Brian Brooks knows full well who Ripple is. They're all connected. Coinbase, Ripple, all these big companies. Everybody has got a seat at the table. Circle, Coinbase, Ripple. And they all are at that trough, and they're making, it's like my dad always said, they're going to make sure that JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and the boys, they all are going to get theirs too. But nothing's going to happen without those. But you can see who all's at the table now. It's pretty clear who's at the table. Okay. And then this was from Circle. Okay. So he knows who Ripple is. Basically, Swift has to adopt Ripple or die, basically is what he just said. And then he's going to speak at Circle, which is backed by Goldman Sachs. On Thursday, August 13th, we are honored to host Brian Brooks, acting head of the OCC at the Treasury Department for the discussion on the digital dollar stablecoins in the U.S. financial system. So that'll be interesting. Now, I sent this out this morning. Don't forget the mainstream media will begin to sell crypto to the world this morning. It's on like Donkey Kong. First, they will hear about Bitcoin, but eventually their journey will lead them to the greatest digital asset ever created, XRP. Now, Mickey B. Fresh actually found the commercial, and I was surprised about something. The commercial itself actually is what Grayscale is selling in the commercial is their fund that also has XRP in it. I'm going to let you watch this now. There's music over this. So I could get a copyright hit on this, in which case I'm going to, I'll take this video out of my video. So if for some reason you don't see this video play, then just go to @Mr. Fresh Time, and he's got it right here in his Twitter feed. But here we go.
For money, people traded goods, tools, cattle, grain, even
I'm
shells.
going to talk a little bit during this so that maybe it won't give me a copyright strike.
Gold, silver, wampum. Soon people decided to put all that value into a piece of paper, then proceeded to wave goodbye to value, printing unlimited amounts of money as they pass the buck to the future. That's why it's time for digital currency.
Yep.
In your investment in the Grayscale funds. Go
there
digital.
They are. Go. Look right there. That is XRP Trust right there. See it? The world is about to change, folks. Now, let's see. Then I wanted to show you this. Now, this is interesting. This is Roger Ver, and he's put this video up yesterday, I guess. First, I want to remind you, the first line of the Bitcoin white paper, a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Fail. Bitcoin is a marketing campaign at this point. And what I mean by that is, all these guys that are holding heavy bags of Bitcoin and saw that as their moneymaker, they realized at some point that Bitcoin was not useful for what it was sold as in the beginning, which is a payment system. And what they did is they sat in a room and they said, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to call this a store of value and compare it to gold for the next generation. And they created it as a marketing campaign. And Roger Ver illustrates the absurdity of what Bitcoin was originally. He's demonstrating to you how high the fees are and how ridiculous it is and how it can't work as anything but a store of value. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'm going to play the first part.
So now we're going to show you how this works with Bitcoin, BTC, right? So I have a new wallet here without any money in it. Brian's going to scan it, and he's going to send me $20 worth of Bitcoin. The fee to send that is $6.73 at the moment. So he'll slide to send. So again, it's $26.73 to send me 20. So I've now received $20 into my Bitcoin wallet. And you can see I now have $20 here. Now Brian's ready to receive the $20 back from me. I'm going to scan that. I'm going to send all $20 worth of Bitcoin. But we'll notice it's $5.87 is the network fee on this one. We'll slide to send. He received $14.13 of the $20 left. Now he's going to send the $14.13 or whatever it was left back to me from the correct wallet. So tap send all. So he's going to send the $14.13. Again, it's another $5.87.
So you can see the absurdity of Bitcoin as any kind of payment for anything. It's not going to happen. Now, it's time for me to give you disclaimers. I'm going to go back to this. I want to give you my disclaimer here. When I first got into digital assets and first saw XRP, I thought, okay, this is going to be a new asset class. And this is a real opportunity. I was correct on that, more than correct on that. Okay. Since that time, and since I've been online and in crypto, Twitter, and for the last 2 years, I've seen what I think is a much larger picture for what XRP really is. What I'm about to show you is something that I had never seen before But when I combine what is said here with a lot of the things that I've seen from a lot of Twitter handles that were around a year ago and disappeared, it all starts to make sense in my mind. I'm not telling you I believe every word of all this. I'm just telling you that there's a there, okay? I don't know specifically but in my gut, this is exactly what this has always been about. And I'm going to show it to you now. This started with a tweet from Sir Gordon at GordonGecko369. How the XRP buyback will be enacted. It's part 2. Okay. I don't think I had ever seen this. Now, this is a blurry copy. So I went out to see if I could find part 1 and part 2 in a clean version, which I did. How the XRP buyback will be enacted, part 1. Why buyback is not possible. When Crispin Odey wrote recently, gold ownership could become illegal if inflation spikes, many analysts took his statement at face value and reacted in disbelief. As with all whales in financial world, Odey sings an analogy, smile and metaphor, alerting his hedge fund investors that other whales, central banks, governments, too big to fail corps, are rising from the deep. The black swans, ripples, will soon reach shore as tsunamis. In moments of crisis, rulers resort to extreme measures, but there will not be a physical gold confiscation again. It's infeasible on a global scale, and Odey knows this. Odey's signal to his investors can be decoded to mean get out of currency and into hard assets. Buy gold now at market price, which is a fraction of its value in the near future, and be prepared for far-reaching regulations for both traditional and non-traditional assets, BTC, crypto, in the new global economic system, which will arise from the ashes of the old. J.P. Morgan famously said money is gold, nothing else. Right now, whales are accumulating gold as much as possible before the looming reset date. Watch the World Economic Forum reset video on YouTube. At reset, the only money will be precious metals, and the new CBDCs will peg. Sovereign governments and CBs are debasing all fiat currencies right now. Governments are ordering so much metal, mints are buying scrap gold at a premium. And here's part 2. How the XRP buyback will be enacted, part 2. XRP is the new Butte updated blockchain, Bitcoin 2.0, XDR. See my What XRP Is post. XRP is the native token of the Ripple network, which is built for government and bank use. When XRP takes up its official role and can no longer play with the plebs, we will be incentivized to sell the tokens back. The magic 10K figure in the XRP community was planted. Does anyone know the original source? As many, myself included, would be prepared to sell our bags at this figure. After this buyback, at reset, XRP will be used to tokenize all the money, all the precious metals, all the gold ever mined in history, which at an estimated 197,567 tons is worth 11 trillion to 11 trillion gold. 11 trillion gold divided by 100 billion XRP equals 110 million. That's just gold. Those who will hodl until their XRP is priced from their cold dead or pried from their cold dead fingers will find XRP is simply not sellable above 10K price rate, and holding is as pointless as burying it under their sacks. It is also possible XRP still held by retail investors will be escrowed for transaction burn or donated to IMF for global liquidity in the new quantum financial system. Now, this reminded me when I read this, does anybody remember Rachel Lee? Rachel Lee was on Twitter and then disappeared. One of the 2 or 3 accounts that's always intrigued me, because when I first was reading, when Rachel Lee was around, I would read it and I would be like, surely that's far-fetched. And it took me another year or two to say, no, I keep seeing this, and this, and all of a sudden light bulbs were going off. This is Rachel Lee. Someone had saved one of her comments. The IMF is not going to use gold and silver in any new monetary system or deliverance of liquidity. And this is the key word, deliverance. And remember, gold and silver, their primary problem is transportability. Okay. And we've seen Brad Garlinghouse 1,000 times talk about, how ridiculous it is to take a suitcase of cash and fly across the world. Transportability. XRP, it solves transportability for all sorts of assets, okay? But the IMF's not going to use gold and silver in any new monetary system or deliverance of liquidity. Remember that it's about speed and it's about transportability. What they may do is ask nations to hand over gold in return for XRP. XRP value is going to be significantly higher from where it is now, and that can occur overnight. It won't take much once XRapid is live. Ripple are already well positioned and at the end stages. Brad Garlinghouse talks about the marathon. We're at the final leg. Ripple, being a globalist company, has no use for the XRP in escrow. They can't distribute it amongst themselves. Everyone already has their allocations of XRP. The rest is for the IMF or whichever globalist bank takes over to re-liquidify the world. 50 billion XRP in escrow, for example, at $1,000 per XRP will position the IMF in the perfect position to re-liquidify the world, as well as ask nations to hand over their gold for XRP. Do you think Ripple is successful on their own? Of course not. They need the tech and the blessings. Some people ask a silly question or make a silly statement like, why would the IMF buy XRP from Ripple or force Ripple to hand it over? It doesn't work like that. Ripple is creating digital gold with the help of the globalists. That's part of the deal. Hand it over. Chris Larson and Arthur Brito get to be trillionaires. Others get to be multi-billionaires, and you and I get to keep a slice of the pie as well. Ripple has no other use for the 50 billion plus XRP in escrow. All you have to do is sit back and watch it all play out like a movie. Now, folks, again, I'm not saying I believe every word of this or the Sir Gordon Gekko tweet, but I am saying that there is a there. There's something that I've seen this angle too many times from too many different places. Somewhere in the mix in this world reset that is about to happen is XRP, folks. It just is. All right. So I'm not going to stop there, though. The other day, just out of nowhere, July 28th, Ripple tweets this out. Are there parallels between gold and crypto? Listen to the latest Blockstars podcast with UC Berkeley's Barry Eichengreen, who was with the IMF, by the way, as I recall. He's a professor at Professor of Economics, University of California, Berkeley. I remember looking the other day, and he's also a guy who advised the IMF. I'm almost positive that was in his resume. All right. And then there was this. This one really took me back from July 17th from Bloomberg, who spent the last 2 years bashing crypto, and all of a sudden they're all in.
With central bank stimulus weakening the dollar and gold being only about $100 short of its all-time high, the question has started to arise, can gold replace the US dollar as the world's reserve currency? The dollar has enjoyed this status for decades, but since it detached itself from the gold standard in 1971, it's essentially consistently weakened on a macro level. Confidence in the U.S. government and the political system in the U.S. is one of the keys, and gold doesn't have that issue of a loss of confidence. But what it does have is a problem with transportability. That's why it's more likely that a currency backed in gold, or even a digital asset backed in physical gold, could potentially replace the dollar much more easily than the actual physical bar of gold could.
And by the way, that was sponsored by the CME Group, who is an investor in what? Ripple. All right. Now, this also takes me back to this old classic clip of Chris Larson at Money 20 talking about how XRP can help in a future liquidity crisis, financial crisis like we had in 2008.
10 years out on the financial crisis, we still don't have the infrastructure perhaps to prevent the next one. And I think this is where digital assets can really help, because an efficient digital asset can really solve some of the key problems in global liquidity. You know, the world's got trillions and trillions of dollars tied up in liquidity just to get around how clunky the movement of value is around the world. If with a really efficient digital asset, something like XRP, again, that's what we believe will be the most efficient, you can now reduce trillions and trillions of capital from being tied up. So you can make those transfers instantly as a bank or as a payment provider, as an enterprise, without having to have money pre-positioned all over the world. So that.
And then there was this from Chris Larson, and this was where he specifically talks about, he's talking about the Interledger protocol and how anything can be moved.
About the other components of this Internet of Value. Again, blockchains, digital assets, very, very important, has to be an efficient one. Equally as important, though, is this, again, a big problem in payments is you don't have interoperability between networks. So it's really tough to move value between either networks or countries, and that goes for blockchains as well, right? And of course, blockchains can't solve this problem, right? Because blockchains are networks themselves. As networks, they can't be a network of networks. In fact, they even make the problem worse because now there's more of them, right? So you have more networks than have interoperability. So we need some kind of an internetworking protocol for payments that is going to connect all of these various networks and can do multi-hop. You have to move away from bilateral agreements, for example. Our bet is that Interledger protocol is going to be the protocol of choice for interoperability. And the way this works, this is actually a derivative of blockchains. You wouldn't have had Interledger protocol unless there had been Bitcoin and other blockchains. And it uses cryptographic conditions so that one network can send value to another network without anybody in between. So cryptographic conditions have to be met before value can move. It settles instantly. And it can be used in any ledger. It can be used in a central, HSBC, Bank of America's ledgers, Bitcoin, a distributed ledger, anything. It can move any type of value, dollars, RMB, Bitcoin, Ether, XRP, gold, whatever. Any kind of value can be moved.
That includes gold. Okay, I've been telling you all, I'm going to tell you again, the more that this market starts to surge, the more bad guys come out of the woodwork. You do not want to be surfing the internet and being involved in the digital asset space and not be anonymous. You can do it with having a virtual private network on your computer. All you do is download the software, put it on your computer, then you can put it on your phone so that nobody can find out where you are. It makes your IP address, it masks your IP address more or less. They're doing a 99-cent 7-day trial at Pure VPN. This is in the description of every video I do from now on. I'm doing a real focus on all of the security aspects of what I do to keep myself safe and keep my information safe and to keep my digital assets safe. I'm going to make sure that I pound that drum over and over and over on this channel because it's the most important thing, and it's also been it's been the main thing that has kept a lot of people away from digital assets is the security of it, because they've been terrified by the mainstream media for the last 3 or 4 years and told that this is all scary and a scam and a hacker can get. So first step is to get a VPN. Go in the description of all of my videos and there's a link and it'll take you right there, and they give you a 7-day 99-cent trial. Also, you need to join my newsletter because at the beginning of each month, I'm going to send an email out, and it'll probably be a video or something like that where I tell you the things that I'm invested in and the things I'm looking at. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Okay. I'm the digital asset investor. But anyway, the link to this newsletter, you can go and put your email in and sign up. It's right in the description of all my videos too. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that XRP is about all the money. Thank you for listening.